Hey guys, welcome back. This is HD and welcome to game number 2 between SlayerS.MMA and Mouz.Hasu from a tournament that I'm not too quite sure what is, but I do know that this is an exhibition matchup, and welcome back. It's time to see if MMA can bring it back or not. He just kind of got crushed by Hasu in a pretty convincing turnaround of events. I mean, you've got to have that kind of confidence, and I know a lot of Terran players will definitely chime in here and say, yeah, MMA was way ahead in that game. He had the Protoss player crushed, he destroyed his entire army, and I honestly feel like MMA's macro there just slipping. I looked at first and I was like, okay, that was a good amount of barracks, but he didn't add on more. After you win a battle like that, it's great to see. Usually, most good Terran players are going to be throwing down 3 more barracks and add it up to 9. And he really didn't add on more barracks. He wasn't able to keep up in production. And unbelievably, Hasu was able to come back and win that game. So now we have a very interesting situation as Hasu representing Europe is up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. We'll have to see what MMA does to change things up a little bit, because I'm sure a little bit of pressure is on his shoulders right now to perform. And it looks like this time around, same opening build actually. He's just throwing down the barracks at the front door. We'll have to see if he decides to go for the quick command center opening again. And I think he will. I think both these players, I think they will go for the quick expansion, because this map is so open and it's very, very easy to expand right away, and the natural is actually very closed off. It's a wide map with a closed off natural, so it's very easy for Protoss and Terran to go ahead and get that expansion down as quickly as possible. And we're probably going to see a similar situation unfold, similar to the last game, where these players are just going to build up big armies and then they're going to collide when they feel comfortable with their army size. So we'll see if my prediction is correct or not, as the probe has made its way over inside the Terran main. Let's see how the production rate in that marine is coming along. It's about halfway done, so that probe is not going to have too long of a lifespan if it decides to stay inside, and Hasu realizing that is going to go ahead and pull his probe out of the way. Unfortunately, that does mean that he doesn't really have a full-on scout. He did see the gas, so he knows it's not a gasless fast expand, but that's all he really knows. Meanwhile, Hasu adding on the cybernetics core right now, 1 gate, and he's going to go ahead and use the same exact build. It looks like he is going to build up a preliminary zealot and a stalker, and he's going to push out and try to apply a little bit of pressure on the Terran front door. And I've pretty much seen Hasu do that almost exclusively. That's what he really, really likes to do. Bring out that early zealot and stalker, pressure the front Terran, and see what he can do with it. At the very least, he's going to get a scout as to whether or not there's a command center. And it looks like MMA is going right into a factory here. Huh. Interesting. So he's going to go right into a fast factory now. This means he could go right into a quick starport. I don't think he's going to do the 1-1-1 all-in that was so prevalent a few months ago, simply because he doesn't have that second gas. Whoa! He is bringing the factory from the high ground to the low ground. Okay, we've definitely got something weird coming along here, guys, and MMA is building Hellions out of the factory. He is making concussive shells out of the barracks. You know, he could just go for a big timing push here with Marauders, with conch shells, and Hellions. Now, the Hellions are designed to deal with the Zealots, and the Marauders are designed to deal with the Stalkers. Could be a pretty significant army, but we'll have to see if this is going to work out or not. Of course, Hasu has no idea this is coming, and here comes the Marauders and Hellions. There is an SCV that made its way to the front, and MMA saw the Nexus. MMA sees the Nexus on the low ground, so he knows it's a 1-gate expand, most likely, due to the timing on that Nexus being so quick, and he is going to go ahead and just romp his way in with 2 or 3 Marauders and 2 or 3 Hellions and an SCV to boot. The SCV is going to be the lineman in the front trying to block all excess damage, and this could just end the game right here. We'll have to see if Hasu is going to be able to get his warp gates out in time. Yes, warp gate is done. 2nd and 3rd warp gate on the way, but there's a bunker being built right now on the low ground. Now, this is a super pressure situation. The pressure cooker is boiling, because if Hasu lets this bunker come up, then that Nexus is definitely going to go down, and it looks like Hasu just doesn't even want to deal with it. He's canceled the Nexus, totally giving it up here, and MMA's little ploy here, Korean style, working out pretty well for him. He's going to go ahead and get the go-ahead to build the command center on the low ground, and he has certainly made this interesting opening work out. It's definitely paid off for him, and you know, he can hold down this it's natural for a very long time. He could play the Terran contained game here, which you don't see very often against Protoss, but he definitely could if he wanted to. At some point, though, that Protoss army will get large enough to push out, and so MMA, you know what? I think that was a great play, getting that Nexus to be canceled, and he is looking primo this game as he adds on the engineering bay. And the reason for that quick engineering bay, I would imagine, is because he is concerned about the potential of a DT switch. Whenever a Protoss is in doubt, you will always see them make that switch into Dark Templar, and I would not be surprised to see HDreplays go for a quick DT rush here. But if that's the case, MMA should have a missile turret ready and waiting because he built that engineering base so quickly. Wow. MMA is looking great this game. He runs an SCV in there as well. Oh my god, he's on top of everything. 3 HP SCV, making its life worth it before it goes down. Yes. And it does get picked off right there next to the Nexus, but he knows now. He knows that HDreplays is going to do, or try to do, the same thing that he did last game. And what did he do last game? He came back despite a massive deficit of epic proportions. He was able to come back. And this is another one of those situations where he is in a deficit. We'll have to see if HDreplays can pull the comeback or not. If he can do it again, then he is going to knock MMA out here of this best of 3. And that would be really, really surprising if he could do it 2 in a row. That would just show that the Europeans now, and I guess the North Americans alike, are now on par with Korea's best. We can definitely hang with them. So let's see what happens here. Observer is flying out and about. It does see the full production capacity of MMA, who has added on the quicker starport here, making use of that preliminary gas, and all off of 3 barracks instead of having 4. Now he's going to have very quick medevacs here, and that's going to give him the possibility to make some drop play work against HDreplays. And I would say that drops here would be doubly effective because the map is vast inside the main. A lot of drop opportunities. There are lanes outside the main as well, at the perimeter of the map. And on top of that, HDreplays' production, his tech, is so behind right now. He just doesn't have that many army units because of losing that Nexus to deal with potential drop play. So I think MMA here has got a lot of opportunities against HDreplays. We'll see what Hasu does, though, as he is really just getting charged on the way right now on +1 armor. Pretty late, but whoa, he's got 6 gateways, so this is interesting. He has gone right into 6 gate mode here, maybe trying to add on that extra 6 gate to make up for the deficit that he has right now. But actually that might pay off for him, because he's going to need as many units as he possibly can to deal with this impending push. And here comes MMA. He is loading up 2 medevacs worth. He sees the Observer, though. He sees the Observer, drops the comm set, and picks it off. That is true game awareness from a top level StarCraft 2 player. How often do you see Terran players at the lower levels always going around for drops, and their drops are detected by observers and then it gets shut down? That was very smart by MMA, and he is now going to mobilize his troops for a drop, but it looks like HDreplays still has an inkling that that drop is coming, which is smart. And we'll see if he gets his stalkers in position or not. Now, this is the problem. This map is so vast. That drop can really come from any which direction that MMA pleases. And so this is a problem here for HDreplays, who really has to stay inside his base. And hopefully he gets blink up pretty soon here. Now, it looks like the drop going around the backside. That was very intelligent. And let's see if he can get anything crucial here. The Forge is in the yellow. It's in the orange. Hasu cancels the upgrade, which is unnecessary, but something that StarCraft Brood War players carried on to StarCraft 2. But, ouch, actually canceling the upgrade there costed him, because the upgrade was more than halfway done, and maybe that's a trait you shouldn't carry over from StarCraft Brood War, because Hasu's Forge actually stayed alive, and if he had not canceled there, he would have been able to finish that upgrade right now. So that hurts. That really hurts. Another significant delay here in his game plan, and MMA grabbing the 3rd at the same time as well. Gosh, HDreplays is cornered in from every which direction. Can he pull off the comeback or not? MMA gets a drop behind the natural. He picks off 5 probes total this game, and just toying like a cat toying with its food against HDreplays here, who has built up a significant charge-out army again. Let's see, almost a full control group here. Can he get that mass charge-out army up to full function? If he can, then he may have a chance here. And he's double chrono boosting his upgrades here. +1 armor, +1 weapons. Gosh, I just don't know if it's going to be enough to deal with MMA, who's already pretty far ahead in this game. He's also getting ghosts out on the field right now at the same time. That missile turret will actually kill off the observer if Hasu isn't paying attention, which it doesn't look like he is. And now it looks like a drop is coming in. There's a photon cannon there, though. And there the observer did go down. And here comes a drop. A couple of zealots getting warped in. Looks like Hasu will clean up this drop, and he picks off a medevac as well. That was good for him to kill off at least one of those medevacs, which means that the potential for damage to be done inside his base has now essentially been halved. And now he's going to make his way out into the middle of the field. This is Hasu chance, ladies and gentlemen, to make something happen. And guys, looking at the supply once again, I cannot believe it, but Hasu is only down by... His Nexus was cancelled, considering MMA has the third up already. I cannot believe that Hasu is still tailing MMA right here, and he's actually got 1,000 minerals banked up, so he could quickly catch up in supply very easily. In fact, if he gets the better engagement here, which I think he will, he could actually crush MMA's army. MMA's gonna have to pull back here. This is not bueno at all for him. He doesn't have a good concave to attack with, maximizing the surface area of his bio units. I don't like the position at all. Now he's gonna pull back to the bunker. This is a much better position for him, and Hasu here has got to be careful not to overcommit. He's got to choose his attacks wisely. He drops the Guardian Shield down, and EMP hits the sentries and the Archons, and now MMA's Fireball going to work, but there's so many charge slots. I think Hasu is actually going to overpower MMA here. MMA getting drilled all the way back to a dead end. The Archons leading the charge, but the Archons aren't attacking. Hasu with a mistake right there, not telling his Archons to attack, and now maybe chasing a little bit too far down in the depths of the Terran main. Maybe not the Terran main, but the Terran Valley of Death, if you will. And MMA able to stutter step away from Hasu and overpower him. I can't believe, though, I cannot believe that Hasu was almost able to take out MMA right there. That was actually a lot closer than I thought it was. Now Hasu with that attack working out okay for him. It was a significant trade for both sides. Is going to go ahead and try to grab that third and rack up that economy of his, but we'll have to see if it's going to be enough to get him in this game. He has operating off of 9 gates right now, and I think that really is the difference in this game. Hasu has 9 gateways. MMA doesn't have as many. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So really his production rate just not as full on as the Protoss player right here. And Hasu could still get back in this game if he tries to macro up and gets all of his forces on track right now. And it looks like MMA going to go ahead and go for another drop into the main. This is completely unexpected. Hasu is not there to deal with this, and a full-on stim comes from the Terran Fiend MMA, who's going to go ahead and pick off the robotics facility. He's going to get the forge as well. The robotics going down is a huge play. There will not be the potential for Colossus any longer, and MMA is going to get the Templar Archives as it's researching Storm. He picks off the Templar Archives. He just picked off 2 absolutely crucial buildings. He could afford to lose these bio units now, I would argue, and it doesn't even matter because now Hasu is regulated to using only Zealots and Stalkers. And he cannot, unless he reproduces the robotics and the Templars, he cannot make any more Templars, nor can he make any more Colossi. In fact, he has not made a single one this game, and that very much bodes well for MMA, who looks like he's going to prepare for an attack right here. That might not be the best position for him as he pulls away, builds a fourth. But I gotta say, man, Hasu is an incredible player. Can you imagine if it were not for the 2 deficits that he has suffered in Game 1 and Game 2 here? He would probably be way, way ahead right now. It's unbelievable to me that he's been able to stay on par despite the damage that he's taken so far. There is an empty medevac here that could be a decoy. Meanwhile, Hasu going in with everything he's got. He's got a good concave to go in with, but he gets EMP'd, and MMA gonna pull the same trick he had before. He's gonna fall back into this Valley of Death. Those medevacs are all out of energy, though. It looks like he might have EMP'd his own medevacs. I'm not sure why those medevacs are all out of energy, but Hasu cannot hope to fight this army anymore without the charge slots taking the majority, the brunt of the damage, so he pulls away, and MMA now, seeing that it's time to give chase, is going to go ahead and do just that. He picks off 3 sentries as well, and Hasu running out of time right now. He has barely any zealots left on the field, and he gets flanked from the north, and that could be all she wrote. Hasu is just going to get surrounded from all angles, and now those Stalkers' lives are very much limited right now. Their lifespan is expiring at a very fast rate, unless you can blink them out of there, which he does. Unbelievable. He actually saves 2 of them. Now, there it is. He is now going to go ahead and use the Dark Templar, and this is what Protoss players gotta do, man. When they're behind, they gotta pull all the tricks out of the bag, and the DT is basically the last rabbit in the hat, the last card up the sleeve. But the Comsat reveals that, and MMA is totally in control of this game. He is gonna go ahead and romp his way through the middle. 157 to 99 supply, units lost in favor, actually, of MMA. And really everything in favor of MMA. Yeah, everything in favor of MMA. And there's a great EMP shockwave. Oh my god. Could not be any more beautiful than that. And now Hasu trying to pull away so he can regenerate the shields, but he pulls into his own Valley of Death. And this one is not going to work as well as his counterparts. There's a GG. Hasu Obs loses the second game, which means now the series is tied up 1 apiece. And we're going to go ahead and go on to game 3. Stay tuned, guys. This is HG signing out.